Hey, what's up, folks? Yeah, we back for a part 2. Took a minute, did a little bit of thinking, gotta get my... I'm really, just stressed today. When all of this stuff is going on with this bug that can't be named on social media, has no name, whatever you want to call it, you sit back and you look back and you say, well, what's really going on? In all respects, they wanted the president to shut the United States down. They wanted him to shut everything down so they could blame all of this on him. See, that's not his responsibility. It is an option that if it's bad enough, he can do. That's not what he did. What he did was what he was supposed to do. Give each governor the right to take care of and can do what they needed to do for their citizens. See, because it wasn't the same all the way across. What was going on wasn't the same in every state. So the president did what he was supposed to do. He stepped back. He let the governors do what they needed to do. And he gave aid and support where need be. I.e., comfort, mercy, ventilators, things that needed to be done. He opened it up so that research could be done by just about anybody that had a medical degree. Instead of just confining it within the government like everybody else has ever done. See, if you take the flu of 1918 and you look, 650,000 Americans died. See, that's a pandemic. That's a real pandemic. 650,000 Americans died. If you take H1N1 and you look at it, you realize that it was just the flu. That most of what we already had worked. Yeah, 12,000 Americans died. But how do you compare something that we already have a medical excuse for? We got medicine that works, and compare that to something that we're facing right now. There ain't no comparison. You have to back up to 1918 to get anything that even closely compares to it. Big difference. Big difference when you look at the facts for what they are instead of what they're supposed to be. They wanted him to shut the country down. They wanted him to be responsible for everything that happened to this country. This is my personal opinion. But anyway, we lead right off of the heels of this bug that cannot be named on social media. And we go right into another very traumatic event. An event that's literally been going on over and over for years. Most of the presidents have faced this dilemma at some point in their presidency. We're never going to agree. Lost of words. Lost myself. Chain of thought got lost. What happened to George Floyd was a terrible, terrible thing. But was it as it really seems? Was George Floyd killed by a cop? Or was George Floyd executed to start something bigger? Those are not proven. Can't prove that, so it's pure accusation. I don't know. But whatever the case is, it was wrong. It was the wrongest thing that could ever happen. George Floyd was an American citizen. Made some mistakes. Did a few things in his life. But for the past 5 years, you can't prove none of that. You can't say that the man was a bad man. I'm pretty sure he reached out to his community. I'm sure he was a good brother. I'm sure he done all the things that he could. That's what a person does. That makes him an American citizen. That makes him a person that's struggling and fighting to survive every day. The normal person, the normal American, had no right to be slammed on the ground and held down by 3 cops. Had no right to have a knee shoved into his throat. He didn't resist. He didn't do anything. That's a fact. Let's state another fact. Right now, we're removing everything that even remotely says that we have some connection with the police officers. Live PD, cops, anything that might even remotely say that we have a friendship and a relationship with the people who saved thousands, if not millions, of lives. Men and women who ran into a building that was burning and pulled people out to save their lives. Men and women who struggled in the streets to pull blocks and bricks off of people because a building fell on them. But now we're condemning them. People who put themselves in a line of freaking fire every day, and we're condemning them. You're right. There is some bad cops out there. There is some cops who've gotten caught up in headaches and heartaches. There's some cops who've been stressed out, PTSD. They've seen things that they shouldn't have seen. And they probably went too far or got too scared. We're faulted for not being able to see it. We're faulted for not being able to pick these cops out and get them off the street. We don't need to defund cops. We need to help them. We need to get in and find out what's going on. We need to make sure that these guys that have lost their way get some help. We don't need to be taking off TV things that actually say, hey, these cops are good cops. Hey, look what they go through in a day. It was all fame and glory until these people started actually doing these craziness. Because if you think that there wasn't people involved in this, take a look at Seattle, Washington right now. It's all fun and games right now. We're supplying food. We're supplying water. We're supplying toilets. We're supplying them to sit up there and do the things they're doing. They're making it possible. Understand this. I cannot think of one police officer across this country right now that isn't totally horrified by what's happened. Everything I've seen, every cop I've seen that's went on has talked about how terrible this was with George and how it was wrong and how it's not procedure and how it's not supposed to be done that way and how it was pathetic and sickening that one of their own did something so stupid. But at the same time, they're also sick and tired of the riots and the looting and the killing of their own brothers, people who have been out and saved others' lives. Spreading stories about how you don't need guns, but yet here they are in Seattle, Washington, locking down the streets, and they got guns in their hands. What sense does that make? What sense does that make at all? You're taking away our police. You're making our military look pathetic. See, Trump had the right to bring out the military if the issue got bad enough. He has a law that he can use to take control if it gets bad enough. But he didn't do that. He just let them know that he could. They tell you that National Guard don't know the streets. The National Guard is from the same streets. They're local men and women. So they don't do police actions every day. They don't have to. They set up lines so that people can't get past it. They let the police go out and deal with the people that they deal with every day. But no, it's not looked at that way, because if you look at it that way, then you have to say Trump might be doing the right thing. Rioting and looting is not right. Burning things down, destroying stuff is not right. And if you don't think it's premeditated, explain to me why they got ice cream containers full of concrete. Why they're pulling vehicles over that are loaded with Molotov cocktails, bats, stuff that go after people. Why are people just being murdered right on the street? I thought this was against the cops. No, this is about people getting out of control. This is about a small group of people manipulating. See, they wasn't on the front lines. You need the innocent people on the front so that when bad stuff happens, when the clash happens, it looks bad. The instigators stood back. Watch the videos. Watch the things flying over the people that are actually protesting. They stood back. It's tactics. Remember I told you about Hitler? Look it up. It was used during his time too. Instigating the people. Getting the innocent hurt. The protesters, the ones that matter, the ones that are speaking a word. They were used and manipulated by a small group of people in the back. It only takes 2 or 3. Remember, humor often imitates reality. When a person is, you watch the movie where the person's in the back saying, hang on, they did it. And then they run over somewhere else and they say, I know they did it, they're guilty, get them. And then they run somewhere else and they do it again until finally the crowd joins in. What do? You said Antifa didn't exist. You said they weren't part of it. They own one of our cities now. They took over 6 city blocks in one of our states and took control of it. But Antifa don't exist. Antifa's not dangerous, but they're walking around with guns. And then the movie stars go on and they talk about, oh my God, it's the Nazis and it's the white supremacists. If that's what they believe, why are they bailing them out of jail? If they believe that's the people that's out there causing the problem, they're so against Trump, why are they bailing them out of jail? Simple questions. Simple questions that don't make no sense. Where do we go from here? What do we do from here? We don't defund the police. Because if you get rid of the police, welcome back to the wild, wild west. Welcome back to vigilante justice. That's where we're heading. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Because if you break in somebody's house, the big question is what do I do with the body now? Because ain't nobody going to come to investigate it. Ain't nobody going to pick it up. See, the thing is, criminals are criminals. Some are caught up in life. Some are caught up in what's going on. And some are just born that way. They believe that they are deserved and have anything they want. Some, a very small few. An addict gets caught up in life. I know. I ain't talking from some off-the-wall backside of nowhere. I am a recovering addict. Simple little things get left to the side. When you're hurting and your mind is lost, you will do anything to fix that. So that means the little old lady that lives in a house by herself all of a sudden becomes a prime target because they're afraid to go into somebody else's house because they might have a gun and blow their heads out because the cops ain't coming. And you think those businesses are going to stay there? They're a prime target. They get robbed a few times and they know nobody's going to protect them. They're going to close the doors. They're going to leave the city. They're going to go somewhere where they can feel safe. We want a life without cops. Yeah, right. Ain't going to happen. You can't control the whole world. A majority of the people, the biggest majority of the people across this country are good people. They're not racist. They're not out to get you. They're not out to take stuff from you. They're trying to make a living. They're trying to feed their families. They're trying to go on a vacation. They're trying to do something to be happy. But a majority of the people, there's a small portion of the people who aren't. They're looking for the quick way out. They're looking for the big buck. And I'm going to let you know now that if politicians are a part of this, if politicians backed Antifa, look up treason. Take a minute and look up treason. Then when you get through with that, go to the government and find out what we do with treasoners. I ain't going to call no names because I don't know. I don't know. And there's a lot of videos out there that show a lot of things. A lot of videos out there that show a lot of things. You know how much a friggin' pallet of bricks cost? You think just common people bought those to stick everywhere across the country? You think this wasn't pre-planned? You got another thing coming. Trying to keep these videos about the same. And I'm real close right now to being in my normal time. So like I said, this is probably going to be 3 parts. I've got one more I'm going to do today. Remember that most of us are together, that we love each other, we depend on each other, we support each other. We build this country together. When I say a majority, I mean the biggest damn majority. But stuff's going on behind the scenes. And if you can't see it, you're not looking. Because it's plain and simple. It's right there in front of your face. There's too many questions. There's too many things that don't have answers. That's the problem. If it was plain, cut, simple, and dry, these questions wouldn't be out there. But these questions are out there. You want to blame Trump? They're blaming Trump because they're scared. That's what they want you to do. Believe it or not, this is for a vote. This is to get you to keep their sorry butts in the office. To keep doing the same things they've always done. We need new blood. We need real people. Not people who go in and say, elect me so I can get rid of somebody. People who go in and say, I am for change. I am for the American people. I am for my people. That's what we need. Pay attention to what they're doing. Pay attention to what they're running for. And if they don't do it, get them the hell out. We vote every 2 years. Every 2 years we vote for something. If they don't do the right thing, get them the hell out and get somebody in who will. They had their chance. They made no difference. It's been going on forever. It's time to be done with this. Real change. I'll leave it on this last note and I'm done because I went a long time with this one. Go back and look at every president. Go back and do the research I did and look at what they ran on. What they said they was going to do. And look at what they didn't do. You go a long way back. And they said they were going to do this. And they said they were going to do that. And they were going to make it this better. And they were going to make that better. But you find when they did. Then I want you to take and I want you to look at Trump. And I want you to look at what he said he was going to do and what he did do. That's difference. Is he the best man? Right now, at this time, he is the best man. Has he got problems? Hell yeah, and that's why I voted for it. Because he didn't walk up on the stage and say, look at how good I am. I don't do nothing wrong. Bull hockey. A real human has stuff they've done. Nobody's a saint. Peace, love. I will be back for a third one today. I got to get this off. I got to get this out. Or I'm going to turn into a mess. My heart's crying. My soul's crying. I love my America. I love the American people. And I will fight to the end to make sure that this country still stands strong. Sometimes you got to go through misery to feel pleasure. That's what we're going through right now. Love. I'll talk to you again before the day's over.